Hello. I just had you all in silence. I'm sorry. Here's some music for you. Good morning. It'll just be me today. As I've explained to some of you just before the stream started, India's feeling a bit under the weather today, but she's fine. She's just asked that we hold off doing the animorning challenge until tomorrow. So if you're all here looking forward to great animation feedback and insightful knowledge, then you'll have to wait until tomorrow because it's just me. So all you're going to get today are goofs, drawing, and a chill time, but no useful information, no feedback, nothing of value. I'm just kidding. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So you might hear India pottering about in the background. She has run herself a bath and she is gonna go soak and recuperate. So I'm gonna pop you all over to this new screen I made, which is called Doig Solo, and hopefully that shares my screen. It does. There you are. There we go. Yes, goofs. Goofs, yes. We will be goofing. What? 9,000? Yeah, it's this thing again. I've been making a short animation on the DBZ meme for a little bit. I don't know if I've set up the audio for you to hear it. Let's take a basic vote this morning. Do you want to be able to hear me repeatedly say, "What? 9,000?" Or would you prefer not to be able to hear that? Porky's just giving it yes. You want to hear it? Okay, okay. Well, it'll only happen like you'll. Do we suffer like you or not? Okay, cool. I don't know how many times I'll be like playing through it. But so to give you guys an indication of what I'm working on, I think Alt A plays it. Apparently it plays from like halfway through, which is just great. It's just perfect. Just India screaming. Yeah, you can hear it then, based upon Dark Vault being like. So if you haven't seen this before, I'm pretty much ripping the compositions and yeah, I'll just show you. You ready? You ready? Here it goes. Oh, we have to cache it. It's caching. Here it goes. It's loading. There it goes.
Swifty, what does the YouTube say about our subscriber count?
It's
over 9,000!
Yeah.
What? 9,000? Swifty, what does the YouTube say?
So one thing I'm noticing is that because I'm streaming this, the playback on this is not 1-to-1 because I have him being like all of these greens are open mouth, all of these orange are closed mouth, and the purple are oohs, so ooh tube. But that is apparently not playing on stream. I think doing a little bit of back and forth with Porky this morning, we've realized that my computer, while I love the 4K monitor that I bought, my computer is like, you want me to render how many pixels now? And so if I'm trying, it plays fine when I'm not streaming, but I think when I try and share such a big screen, then it's doing a lot of like, oh no. So Thankfully, though, what you'll be seeing me work on is painting and cleaning up frames. Cause quick, open a new goal for dono goal for a PC. Man, no, I don't. Yeah. Look, it's an Angie Swift. She's based on Vegeta. Let's see. Okay, so I tried to create a smear here, and in the process of making a smear from like this frame to this frame, I accidentally combined down. Wait. I've already tidied up the frames. I just didn't. Oh, I can just copy them over. Oh, yeah, I accidentally combined my face together on this layer. But ukulele, I've already cleaned those up. I just need to press my copy frame button and my paste frame button. Oh, come on now. Copy frame, paste frame. There we go. Copy frame, paste frame. Paste frame. Cool. Two. Cool. A frabjous day. Oh, you guys, I won't talk on this too much, but I do want a new computer. But that's my personal goal, is make kick-ass art, earn beans by pewter. 1, 2. What? Wait. 1, 2. Okay. 9,000. Blah blah neeb, it goes okay. I'm working on this because we passed 9,000 on YouTube, and I was like, cool, I'll celebrate it, and we're already like slowly crawling our way. Rolling. Let's say rolling our way towards the next milestone. So I gotta get this done. You helped a friend get PC parts for their first build. Already jealous of their PC. Oh no. I built the PC I've been using for the last 6 or so years. I'm still pretty proud of that. I got advice from my coder friend. He was like, what do you need to prioritize? And I'm like, art programs, software, making art. He's like, okay, here's some components that is within your budget. And then they arrived all in the small boxes, and it's like, all of these boxes, when you put them together, they make a PC. I seriously have hands up if you've ever slotted RAM into a motherboard after it's been screwed into a tower case. Who among you have shared the experience that is the terrifying moment that you're putting pressure into that RAM slot and you're like, how am I not destroying the thing I love? How? Because you have to push it until it clicks. Like there's an audible like, and you're like, okay, there's one. It is terrifying, isn't it? Why do they make it? Why don't they make it like one of those belt clips where like it's just like, you know the belt clips where it's like the two plastic things and you're like, yeah, you just that's fine. I mean, you're not gonna like strap your PC to the end of like a bungee cord and be like, well, don't want the RAM to move. I got myself 32 gigabytes of RAM way back when, so I had to slot 4 8 GB cards into the one motherboard. It wasn't just like, okay, I'm done. It was like, oh, there's 3 more to go. Oh shit, Darkbolt, you had the pleasure of putting it all together and turning it on, nothing happened. Eek. Yeah, like my computer is holding up. I think maybe if I got myself a better graphics card and maybe another processor, it'd be okay, but at that point you probably may as well get a new motherboard. Cha-cha. All right. I like doing these smeary frames. Oh wow, you had a power source that was glitchy and you had to plug things in a certain way or it wouldn't power. Indy's monitor does that. And actually, I think it's my monitor. I'm wrong. For a long while, probably still, I don't know, I haven't looked behind there again. I had stacked my power cable into the back of my monitor so that it didn't, if it slid out at a certain angle, it just wouldn't power on. And it was like that from day one. And it was my first time having like one of those, like, if you've ever seen them, the monitor buttons where it's not a button, it's like part of the panel. So it's like a heat button or some shit like that. Oh gosh, I spent like an hour or 2 hours just being like, where's the button? Little did I know that the power cable at the back just wasn't completely synced up, so I'm just like spent the first 2 hours looking at my monitor in complete darkness. It's like, why won't you turn on? Just rubbing my thumb against the front of it, like just at one point with my head just on the desk, just like, I don't understand you. Where's? Couldn't find the on button, you guys. Touch button or whatever. And I haven't wiped down the monitor in terms of, like, you know, with a rag to clean it ever, probably. I don't know. I probably has had a little bit of a dusting because my flatmate had cleaners that came around before COVID, but like the amount of grease that's probably built up over that button, just like smearing your finger across it. Yeesh. I don't know why I'm talking about such gross stuff. This is what happens. You're on a Doig Solo stream. I don't have a filter because I don't have India next to me going, Doig. Hey guys, the animation challenge announcement on Tuesday, right? You mean the announcement? The second part of reviews will happen tomorrow. India is not feeling well today, and she's pretty much the source of the valuable knowledge. I just make tech stuff happen. Oh yeah, the announcement for next week was at yesterday's stream, but I put a tweet as well. So if you're not following us on Twitter, do so. No, I mean you don't have to, but the next challenge is our pinned post. I try and get the announcement up as soon as possible. Last week I think was a little too lax, but I made sure it went up yesterday. You tell them Eve Art Studio or Evelyn or thank you. I don't know how well I know that I was exaggerating the enthusiasm in the actual just like do so, but I don't know where the sweet spot is with self-promotion and stuff like that. Sleep time. Good. Yes, rest. Because it's like I'm just trying to help you find the information that you want. But yeah. So spoilers, I have already finished a bit more of this animation, but I lost an hour's worth of work. So how evil does that feel when you're like, I even rendered it out. I've got a render of it in the other state, and that'll never be seen or shared because it wasn't finished. It was in the sweet spot. now you just being soppy. How you? So you lost all the work, if honest. But yeah. It's worst, I think, when you're doing a completely repeatable process. Like if you're painting something and you lose it, then you can be like, well, I'm going to pick up and carry the experience I had of painting that, and you can sort of be like, all right, I'm going to reapproach this problem and try other solutions. But if you're, say you're doing something like you have to assemble a bunch of clips, or like you're doing a very functional task, and you do it and then you lose the progress. It's so like you can't even be like, oh, I'm gonna do this in a different way, because I guess you could do it in a different way, but when you don't know a different way to do a particular thing, you're like, I just have to repeat those actual physical movements. I'm always just like, to the point I was just like, I'm not doing that again in the next hour. I'm gonna go do something else. Which is why I'm doing it now. So I'd finish this smear. Which this one's a little bit more creative, because I can be like, what can I do that's better this time? So I'm going from side to this.
9.
I got 2 smears in this animation so far. I've got the one at the beginning where I'm doing a little stamp, and I'm quite pleased with the fact that I added a little dust cloud on his foot. I don't know if you can see that. He's like, spoot. Yeah. But yeah, I've got this face, which is my favorite in the whole animation. I forgot to put in my rosy cheeks, I think, at the end. Oh no, oh no, oh no. I'm just gonna put my hand up in the air and say that I am completely... Oh, don't drag the UI. No, get back there. Cool. I'm completely stealing that motif from David's rendition of us because I think it's cute. Row November asking the good questions, saying, I'm just wondering though, India's got like a blue gradient on her hair in her moving avatar. Does she got a blue ombre? I'm gonna assume you meant to say gradient again. Or is it just for the avatar? India does indeed have a blue fringe and blue kind of ends to her hair. So yeah, the avatar is based on her hair. I think she got the she got that her hair colored at the same time we were designing the avatars, so that it got rolled in. I remember me like doodling mine and giving myself antlers, and she's just like, "Yo, you got glasses and antlers. That's so cool." And she started like thinking up things that she could put on her avatar. But that logic, Doug actually got antlers as well. Well, I don't, but it'd be cool if I did. The antlers thing, that was based on a monster I created. It was my like Undertale persona. I created a green bear with antlers and a flame between them. And when we were doing these avatars and stuff, where it's like, oh, we should do like a bird and a bear, I thought about it and I was like, if I'm just like a brown bear, then you see a brown bear, it's not specific enough. So I was like, I'll be green. Wait, I remember there being a green bear in the past. So that's... I watched you guys before... Blaman Neeb says, I watched you guys before the avatars and was used to your live action depictions. Then I kind of lost track of you. Was surprised to see them when starting the animorning challenge. Oh, cool. I didn't realize that. I thought you just kind of been around in the in this era, Bish, but it's cool to hear. It makes me wonder if Papa is Bloodborne bear, is Mum a kind of deer? That's been thrown around before. I've not really thought about it. Part of me is just like doesn't want to be like automatically yes, but part of me is like, what does it matter? Do you both learn art in school or by yourselves? I think I would say in a large part we've enthusiastically sought out knowledge for ourselves. We both studied at university level education in creative fields. So India did a university I think BA with honors in animation specifically, and I did 4 years at university under it was a course called computer arts, and so that was fairly open. Like, imagine describing a course as, if the art was made on a computer, then you can do it in this course. And you're just like, what does that mean? And it meant anything from game art, production art for games, animation, motion graphics, film, like advertising, stop motion, just if you could do it digitally, you're in. Which meant that I got a grounding in a lot of different. I've never done stop motion, I'll say that, but I did a whole bunch while I was there. What do you do, cheek? It's okay to keep my heritage a mystery. You guys know it's fictional, right? I'm just a hoomban. Fake news, I'm a bear. I'm a bear. Don't listen to that last statement I made. Oh, dude, 3D printers didn't exist when I studied. Well, maybe they did, but they weren't like commercially available like they are now. So you had to make them puppets from scratch. There was one guy who did stop motion for his final year, and they gave him a room, so he would just disappear into this room to make his film, and like the dude looked a little bit like the guy from Nosferatu, so it was really like it just added to his whole lore that he would disappear into a dark room and reappear at like lunchtimes and stuff. He was super friendly, he was lovely. Hey, morning, Ole. Yeah, Swifty is recuperating, so I'm doing a bit of my own stuff today. I've recently been learning how to use Clip Studio Paint. I'm really enjoying working with the more kind of traditional brushes in that, because I'm painting backgrounds at the moment, and I'm trying to get like a traditionally painted feel to them. Yeah, that's what stop motion artists do at school. Yeah. So it's a little weird for me to like jump back to Cruda, because I'm expecting things to happen that probably could happen, but not with this brush, which is fine. I will say, hand painting each of these frames was probably a fucking mistake. It was supposed to be like a pixel art thing. I don't know when I decided it wasn't going to be. I have that fear with Blender. Literally it does everything I want to do for free, but I don't want to relearn a new software. I can see the hesitancy in that, blah blah Neve. I will say though that shut up, get Blender, it's awesome. But no, I don't mean shut up. I apologize for that. I think Blender. So I learned Maya originally for 3D, and then I got hired at a games company that used 3ds Max, and so I had to learn 3ds Max in a week, or you're fired. So I built a tank, because we were working on a tank game. I built a tank that could raise its turret with IK and stuff like that. And I didn't really like the modifier stack in 3ds Max and all the order of operation stuff, so you had to think about for that. But I used that for a few years, and then that meant I had experience of being like, Okay, how do I do this? This thing I do in Maya, but in Max. And eventually just sort of like power your way through. And then when a group of friends and I were gonna we were making a game together, we had to be pragmatic about what software we were gonna use, and it was like, well, there's this Blender thing and it's free. So Mike, do you think you can use this so we don't have to pay for Maya licenses? And I was like, sure. And now, having used it for years, like that was 2012 or 2013. Blender's really cool. But I understand, like, oh, I don't have a good reason to switch, so I'll just keep using the thing I know how to make things with and keep making cool stuff. I will say though that I use the stylus, the pen stylus, Wacom stylus, for navigating around in Blender, and it is my favorite way to do it now. Because a lot of the navigation in Blender is based on the middle mouse button, so it's not like you press Alt and then left click, middle click, and right click for the different dolly pan and zoom. All of the kind of motions are on the middle click, and then you change between Alt, Shift, and Control for the different ones. But what that means is I've got middle click mapped to the button on the pen, so in gestures I can like move around the scene. It just feels a lot nicer. Every time I was jumping between Blender and Unity at the time, I was just like, I want Unity to control like Blender. And that's from someone who used Max, and Unity works like someone who used Maya, because Unity works like Maya. You started learning TV Paint this weekend. You don't think you can turn to Flash because brushes with texture and opacity. You do get a really nice result from TV Paint. I mean, that's the reason I'm using Krita right now, is raster painting animation. Yeah, the Toon Boom subscription stuff is pretty hefty. Now, because I'm pretty much like a tech, I pretty much just use Toon Boom for pipeline stuff. It means that I need to get the node stuff that you get with premium, which means I have to pay the premium price. And did so for a while, but they had an ambassador program for people to apply for, which part of the program is that you get a year's license free. So I was like, fuck yeah, I don't want to pay for Toon Boom for a year, I'll just apply for that. So I'm currently 6 months into my free year. The two characters you see in the bottom left and right of the stream, they're Toon Boom puppets. I wanna change mine up a little bit. give myself bigger glasses and a smaller muzzle. More akin to... Ow, ow. Something speck in my eye. More akin to this. More cute cheeks. Yeah. So, and that's influenced by David Liu's drawings of them. He has a really nice sense of appeal that I'm like, I like this. I thought it might be cool if behind the glasses I just have like dot eyes. So I'm trying that out in this side profile view. Oh, hey Sarah, thank you. I appreciate that. Being a colorist, yeah, I like compliments that involve color. Is rigging 2D puppets much like 3D meshes? It's not really. I mean, sort of, but no, because I guess there are comparisons. The way that Toon Boom rigging can work is there's different deformers that you apply to the vector information. So, say you have a lattice deformer in a 3D program. That's kind of similar to having like an envelope deformer in Toon Boom, where you can control the points within by lesser points outside. And then you can like create bone joints, so they're similar, but you can also create curve deformers. There's also a hybrid between curve and envelope deformers called curvelope, which is just using both of them but in a specific way. I think there's similarities. I think if you understand one, you can think about the other. I think I've went through the motions a fair amount, but never too deep on any particular topic. So I'm far from being an expert. But I've done, let's see, I've done 3D modeling. I've done 3D like UV unwrapping. I've done 3D hand painted textures. I've done photo textures. I've done like high-res sculpting a little bit. I've done photo like camera projection mapping texturing. I worked on a game where I had to design and model and build and texture buildings based on concept art for like a city management game. Fuck, it's boring as fuck. Although it was based on an animated series written or at least produced by Tom Hanks. So there you go. There's a bit of freaking trivia for you. Hey, when you need to make buildings for this game, for a game for Tom Hanks, like, what? I wonder if that's still a thing. It's called Electric City. I think it eventually got. Oh wow! Why are you giving me Google Maps right now, Google? It's trying to tell me Electro City, which is a place. It thinks I meant to say electricity. Yeah, not that fascinating, really. I've done 3D character animation once for a freelance gig. I've done comics coloring. I've done background illustrations, compositing. What else? 3D animation, rigging in Blender, UI design. Like I have been around the block. If you ever saw this game, the game called Mutiny, I worked on with friends for, oh, that's a tiny image. Let me just bring it over. I worked on this for a bit. Here's some old old concept art I made way back when, and from that original like sketch, we were like, ah, cool, pirate on a pig, that'd be really fun. Ended up making like this thing. Oh, does that not animate? Alright, thought it animated. Yeah. So like the 3D model and everything for this, I made way back when. The fabled Dread Sea Hog, yeah. We ended up making like it was gonna be like an 8-player game, battle brawler, where you're on a pirate ship and you like had to take care of your ship while fighting your other teammates to become captain. Was the thing. We had like this is tiny up in the top right corner, but we had like this arena thing where you could joust on pigs, which I still want to make. It's just time, you know. Man, there isn't that much art out there online for this. It was quite cool. I think there's a demo somewhere online. There he goes. There's an animated piggy. This run was animated by India. There you go. And here's a crab. Can fight crab. But yeah. Why am I talking about that again? Grump crab. It is, hey Steiny, it is just a me. How are you doing? Oh, yeah, I should say, feel free to ask me any questions or I don't know. I feel like I reached the max, the end of that thought thread. Oh, you're in finals week for uni. What's your favorite soup? Chicken noodle, I think. My dad would make really nice chicken noodle soup when I was a kid. How about yours? What's your favorite soup? You missed the streams. Oh, I'm sorry, Steiny. I know that like US times aren't like they don't match well with our stream slot. I want to do a bit more evening streams if I can. Here in Ireland, you discovered chowder. God bless chowder. Can I tell you what the music is? Sure. Currently is The Smallest of Miracles by Kikoru. I wish there was an easy way for me to like share all of these. Like these are all the songs if you want to take a screen grab. I guess it's the writing is pretty small since I'm sharing the whole of a big screen. Tell you what is your Twitter? And I will just wait, I think I missed it. I will just paste this to you on Twitter. They're too tiny. Oh wait, I just read your name. I can find you. Manamimina. That's, yeah. I can compute that. The music service I use is called Epidemic. So hopefully we're covered. All of the songs I'm playing are downloaded from there. I saw that Twerp had put out a tweet saying, we don't mind people playing our music on the streams generally, but we don't know how to prevent the algorithm from like throwing a fit. But if they can figure that out, I would love to be able to just play Twerp on the stream. The perks about not making money on streams / YouTube, get to play whatever music you want. Oh, is it only affiliates that are getting like DMCA takedowns? A music label somewhere decided to actually claim their legal rights to all their music played on Twitch. Oh. So with Epidemic, they allow you to you get one account and you can attribute multiple different socials to that one account. However, it's like one per platform. So you can have an account and it's like this channel on YouTube and this channel on Twitch. They can use the music. Which I didn't realize until after I'd made two new YouTube channels, and I was like, oh no. So like all the Twitch VOD channel, it gets like it gets copyright notices. Kindergarten Kinder, thanks for the follow. Hope you enjoy what you see. Hope you come by again. How are you doing? I'm painting some animation frames. Close enough. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'd made the tongue like slightly purpler. I find if you have a character that has like an odd skin color, if you give them like a really red mouth, it looks weird to me. We hit that issue with Strive in Starlight Brigade where we gave them blue skin, but then if you give them like a human red warm interior mouth, it just looks like someone with face paint on. So I think the interior of Strive's mouth is slightly more purple than it would usually be. Which is funny because when you see people in cosplay doing Strive and they're like laughing or whatever they're doing, and you're just like, yep, looks like someone in face paint. Because it is. I'm joking. Come on, cosplayers. Gotta paint the inside of your mouths. I mean, you could probably get like food coloring for your tongue. I'm gonna start spreading that, you guys. It's like, in order to get the 100% authentic, legitimate Strive cosplay experience, you gotta color your tongue. That's too far. Should I add the gum? Should I add the gum in the next frame? It's kind of fun. Yeah, let's add it. Let's add it. Let's do it. I heard a sound. Oh, host Rising, thank you. Could you imagine could you imagine it'd be like that? Someone come. I've never seen a Strive cosplay in person. Do you imagine the first thing I'm doing is just like, you got the mouth wrong. I got we haven't Indy and I, we've not been to a convention where we've been there where someone is cosplaying as Strive, but we did see someone cosplay as Midge from Girl in the Glim, which was so cool. And it's someone that we'd met previously as well. So it was just, it was like, whoa, hey, kind of reaction. Oh, it was that Thought Bubble, Steiny. You probably pass out if you saw someone cosplaying as one of your characters. Yeah, it's surreal. It's like, whoa. They'd made a plush Glim as well, like to life size, and they were holding it. It was so cool. For those, I don't know which of you are and aren't familiar with Girl in the Glim. So I will show you. It's funny, there aren't any real, like, aside from the cover, there aren't any really good pictures of the Glim outside of the book. Whoops. Actually, this page has the Glim on it. So there he is. Let's see if there's one later. There's a Glim. This little thing here. Yeah. I did that one of Midge on the tightrope. I did, that's true. Did I ever put that up online? Shit, I don't know where I would find that on my computer. Those aren't pages from book 2. Sorry, no, that's book 1. That was around the time you found us. Oh, that's super cool. All right. Of those of you in the chat, hands up if you're unfamiliar with Girl in the Glim. And 2 hands up if you want to become familiar with Girl in the Glim. If you're curious. I'll see whether I should keep talking or not about it. 2 hands. Okay, 2. We got 2 hands. Two hands, 2 hands, 2 hands. 2 hands up twice. I've heard it mentioned, but I haven't seen anything. 2 hands up foot, 2 hands, 2 hands. Yo, lots of new poops. Cool. So, in 2017, India quit her job and decided she wanted to make a comic book for her story. And so she spent the summer illustrating 60 pages for a graphic novel. So here is if you search Girl in the Glim, here's some pages and stuff from it. You might have seen things that like Habo's been animating recently. But yeah. So this is one of the first projects that India and I, it's not the first, but it's one of the first projects that India and I collaborated on. You saw the animated ones. Okay, blah blah need. These are the pages and things from the book. So you've got like young Midge here. I'm sorry it's so small on the far right of my screen, but she's going to school in a new town, a new school for the first time, and at the same time there's like little supernatural creatures that have just arrived in her town. Do you have a bite here command for Trashbot? I don't know. Let me see. I think it might be Glim. There you go. Yeah. There you go. Since you asked. And so recently India was working on an animation to help let folks know that we're intending to make more of the story. India's intending to make more of the story soon. I say we because eventually I will be the one coloring it. And so that was a really cool experience. To see India making her own, like really pushing her storytelling and having a lot of fun. So the main character, here's Midge. Her actual name is Bridget, but she ends up getting called Midge. And it's the story is really about how difficult it is to sort of like fit in, and while there are a lot of differences that we have with one another, like we're all kind of scared of stuff, and so the story is gonna interestingly deal with, you know, how we can like, I don't want to speak for India. I'm trying not to like give away anything either. It's hard to sum up. But yeah, if you're interested in it, it's fairly cool. The character designs are amazing. I agree. I think India's got a really cool character design approach. She wrote about it a little bit specifically for the Glim characters. I don't know where to get the book. That's not what I'm saying. I just want to because India's going to be working on more of it later in the year. We're making that animation to like gear up back to help let people know. You don't say it when I get the book. Do you have an idea of when the physical copy might be available? So it's off of our site at the moment because we don't want to ship things during COVID. We don't want to like we didn't want to overload or overwhelm postal workers. But we still have some books in stock here. So when COVID sort of clears up a little bit more, hopefully sooner. But you know, we're not going to rush it or anything. They'll be available again. But yeah, India's going to be working on the next part of it later this year. Yeah, COVID's not going to be going away anytime soon. I think the restrictions in Ireland were sort of like got relieved a little bit yesterday. So just getting to the post office is a little bit more possible now. I'm just waving. I'm just waving at you. Saying hello. You doing okay? Oh. Good. Glad to hear it. What has been my favorite project so far? Oh, I'd probably say Starlight Brigade. Being considerate is a nice sentiment, but you both need to be supported by your own means as well. I don't mean to speak out of term here, but I've tried to stop being so darn nice to everyone, and I always put myself last. Yeah, I think self-promotion can be like troublesome for people, where they're like they don't want to sound out of turn. I was listening to there's a Grumps episode that India let me know about, where Aaron's kind of talking about when you're putting yourself out there, if it's his feeling of like, if you don't believe in what you're making enough to say that you believe in it, then convincing other people outside of yourself of it is just that much more difficult. So if you can't be like, I think this is really cool and I think you'll enjoy it, if you can't communicate that, then it's a lot more difficult for someone to be like, here's $5 for the thing that you're like, oh, you know, don't, it's fine. So when he was saying that, I was like, that makes a lot of sense. I think he put it in a little bit more blunt, which is is what I was saying is like, if you like, why should I even listen? I can't remember his actual wording, so I'm not gonna paraphrase too badly. But he put it a lot more forthrightly than I just did. Do I know what episode that is? Let me ask. It's one of the latest Mario ones, India says. I think they're playing, I think it's Galaxy something. I don't know which episode number it is. But the title might give it away. I can find that for you though, George. So I don't know if any of you know it, but I recently found out there's a thing called imposter syndrome, and boy, it ticked off way too many marks. Feeling like you're just gonna get discovered for being like a fraud. Yeah, it's tough to deal with those sort of feelings. This is the point where you're like, and please say some advice to help with that, Mike, maybe? And not just state true facts. I always kind of feel like it's often better to worry less about what others think of you and focus on how you think of yourself. Like, are you being genuine and authentic to who you feel like you want to be? Are you doing the things that you want to be doing? And India's working on some storyboards, and she was like, I don't know if people will think this is cool. And she's like, I'm kind of like losing the sense of finding the fun in this. I'm like she was like really stressing over it, and I was like, forget about the thing, like forget about like whether other people will think this is cool. Make something that you think is cool. And I think that's imposter syndrome is a lot about casting external doubts on yourself. Like, imposter suggests that you're going to get discovered by some external thing, like, oh no, I'm going to do something, and then someone else is going to see that I'm faking it. And so what if you are? if you're trying to do something and you've never done it before, that's still legit. I don't know. I think we as people and as humans, we're often seeking acceptance. Like, we'll be motivated by the feeling of like, this will get me accepted into a group. And I think that can be part of your motivation, but if that's the only part of your motivation, it's not a solid foundation to build stuff on. Because if that gets questioned and that gets shaky, then it's going to derail you. Whereas if you're going to be doing it anyway, like if you're making it for yourself, then then it's more like up to you whether you think it's good or not, you know? Whereas you can't anticipate whether collective X or Y or Z are gonna respond to it. Wait, there's a big chunk of text. Let me see this. Rolando says, I recently found a mentor who took me under his wing, and something he made me realize I was working hard towards something that was not going to get me anywhere. So he saw my work and he helped me realize that I want to become a concept designer. I kind of had a clue from Isaacin, so I've always done that without realizing it. Cool. And Sweden, this thing called the Yonte law, and one of them is, who do you think you are? Don't think you're better than anyone else. And it's so instilled in me. Who am I to think I make something nice? Oh, don't think you're better than anyone else. I saw recently someone questioning the worth of their art, because they were like, I've been making these things, but the things I make aren't any better than anyone, aren't the best, or that they aren't any better than anyone else's. So what's the point of me making them? And I think getting caught in that comparison trap where you're like, what is my thing worth if these other things exist? It can be debilitating, but it's like making the thing is only, having the thing at the end is only a part of it. Like the art that you make has so many different facets of value that support one another, that like if you made art for therapy for yourself, like an expression of an internal feeling, then making it had value to you in that moment. If you make art to build on a story, then the drawing itself might not matter as much as the ideas that spring off from it, but the act of making it was of value to you. There's so many, like, I think they were like, people can draw dragons better than I can. And it's like, yeah, but no one else is gonna draw the dragons that you draw. And I don't know. It's a hard. I think it's a hard thing to rationalize away, because a lot of it is irrational fears. Because someone can be like, what if they hate it? And you can just be like, what if they do? What does that actually mean? Really, at the end of the day, if someone else doesn't like what you do, if it's subjective, then there's nothing you can do about it. If it's objective and they're like, here's a well-crafted, constructive critique of why what you made can be objectively better, then you can be like, cool, that's super useful advice. But if someone else just like, thanks, I hate it, and you're like, well, you can't convince them to like it by making more of the same thing. And if you change for their whims, then you're sacrificing your own personal enjoyment, and that's not cool. I should read the chat some more. I just been painting and rambling. Yeah, I just saw my thing isn't unique, but it's mine. That in itself makes it unique. Yeah, that's a pretty good way of putting it. Cool, okay. Okay, let's make a really cool 9,000 thing. I think if I'm on the painted background, I want a new background here. Maybe I just need to... Yeah, cool, new frame. Oh, I think you're right, Kurzik. You feel like a lot of artists when starting out have this unapologetic approach to everything they draw, but then eventually start to feel the pressure to perform well. Yeah, no. I think every successful thing you do almost increases that pressure as well, because then not only have you proven that you are capable, you have to match that again and again and again and again and again and again and again afterwards. That sometimes you're like, I'm just making this for me, and you do like a silly stupid doodle, and that's cathartic. Tibbs is saying, I don't know if I have issues with motivation or discipline or addiction, or if there's something diagnosably wrong with me, but I feel like I have no drive to do things. There's plenty that I want to do, but it feels like every part of me is far too heavy, and getting up or moving is just too much. Like I think separating out want from need is interesting in that, because like sometimes I can flip between I really want to do this and I really need to do this, and need is it feels like it's a lot stronger force. We were talking about motivation the other day, and Kevin came in and was like, sometimes he feels like he's motivated by fear, and that the fear is like, if I don't draw today, then I don't earn the money I need to survive, and that can like go up and down. Like I think depression, from the things I've read, like it can be really hard to get momentum when you're in a depressed state. Now I think I've had I've skirted or maybe fallen into and out of depressive episodes and stuff in the past. It's weird. I think I only realize that I've been depressed after the fact. Like when I'm in it, my mood will be low and stuff, but I kind of tend to like accept it as just that's how I am. It's weird. I've never gotten so heavy with it though that I'm like I can't get out of bed or anything like that. Like I've never had that, but I do know that when I'm feeling like that, and it's kind of related to burnout as well, is that if I feel like everything that I have to do is obligated, like if I feel like I don't have a choice, then I start to get really low mood and down. Now when you get in the states where you're like, I haven't decided anything for myself, it's good to remember that you actually have decided. Everything that you were doing is a decision. Like, say you've got a bunch of work you have to do. You don't actually have to do it. There's a social contract there where you're expected to do it and you've agreed to do it, and like there's all these kind of like pressures associated with it, but when it comes down to it, you don't have to. You're choosing to because it's important to you and you don't want to let other people down, but there is a choice there. You've made it one way or the other. You've had the control that you wanted and that you want. You just have to like flip a mental switch like frame it differently, because I feel like sometimes my career path has just been bouncing around whatever landed to me next. I could attribute that to things like nights as well. Like as awesome as working on these projects are, it's sort of reactionary the way that I've gotten there. Because I feel like in the dynamic between me and Swifty's very much like, I want this, and she's I kind of see her as like a catalyst. Whereas I'm more like, oh cool, this is happening now. I'm really bad at making decisions. I shirk responsibility for decisions so hard, you guys. Like in past relationships, and even in this one, like my fatal flaw has been fucking decide something, and we'll do that. Because I'm so agreeable, because I'm so afraid that if I choose something that is lame, then that was on me. Whereas if you don't decide anything, then like I think it can sort of like drag you down into this feeling of like you're just going with the flow and spiraling. And sometimes that's comfortable, where you're like, okay, whatever happens, happens. Sometimes it's like, man, what am I doing with myself? What's actually happening right now? He's like, India, what do you want to eat today? Michael, anything is fine. India, ah! Yeah, stuff, small things like that add up. Small things like that do, like, I think the thing that India's calling me out for more recently is, she's like, do you want me to do this? And I'll be like, if you want to. She's like, that wasn't the question. It's like, do you want me to do this? And my immediate unthinking response is like, well, if you want to do it, then I'm okay with that. She's like, what do you want though? And then I'm like, what do I want? Because I think a lot of the time I know what I don't want. But actually pushing for the things that I do want, I find really hard. I'm missing a lot of what you guys are saying because I'm trying to paint and be productive and talk. So if there's anything that I missed in the above conversation that you want me to address, let's see, Tibbs saying, I think maybe because I did have severe depression when I was younger, I'm very scared to think I might feel that way now. My life is invariably so much better now. I shouldn't be sad. Ooh, the trap of being like, I don't, what is it? Like the feeling of I should be happy because things are good is I think is like a trap where you're like, I don't deserve to be happy. Sorry, I don't deserve.
You're right, my friend.
Whoa, thank you for the bits. I don't deserve to be sad because things are going well. Can often like make you feel like your feelings aren't valid, and when they are. To quote Rush, if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. Well, that's a pretty great. Yeah. That's why I love the Animorning challenge as well. It gets me animating again since there's a small goal to get. Helps me out a lot personally. That's so cool to hear, man anime. That's really cool. I'm up in the chat, you guys, so I'm just gonna go work my way down. The weirdest thing for me is happiest when I'm working, but getting started is always so hard. Getting started, going from rest is hard. I wish I had better immediate advice for that, but I'm gonna catch up and then see where you guys are at in the conversation. Happening in there's something sound like others' problems. I think a lot of motivation stems from the environment you're in as well. It's hard to create beautiful things in life around you isn't inspiring. Sometimes helps to go on random walks or try hike a new trail. Yeah, more input so you have more process and more output. I'll say, Doig, don't reckon this, but boy, almost dying sure helps with that. I guess it helps prioritize your life if it almost ends. I want to try to do the animorning challenge this week and keep it to 3 hours. It feels like a small amount of time, but I know I can get much more done than I think if I can focus. That's really cool. I only get bothered when someone gets so hangry they don't want to eat anymore. I was in a relationship with 5 years with a person exactly like that. It was always, if you want to. After a while, it triggered me so much. Good to know, Trash Tunes. I think that is like taking responsibility for yourself. It's a part of being a healthy individual. Like if you're part of a partnership, it is important that you are as remain an individual. In the past relationship, someone got hangry at me for not arguing with them and agreeing with them. I'm usually very chill on things like what to eat. I've been there. Someone just wants the argument. Do you romanticize the idea of doing it? Does that mean that you truly want to do it? I want to around the whole time. Okay, you guys are still talking. I'm all this with each other. It's like okay, now I'm just reading. Whenever I hear someone say that they or someone else should be sad because someone else out there has it worse, I think of this one post I saw years ago that went like, they found them! The person who has it the worst in the whole world! Only they get to be sad. Yeah, when you take it to the extreme like that, it becomes really ridiculous. Guess I'm done, that's for sure. The challenges were helpful for me as well, says Dragon Punani. After finishing my thesis film, I didn't want to animate anymore. Doing the small challenges helped me get back to actually having fun. That's cool. Been depressed for several years, and even though I'm in therapy and take medications, things are still kind of the same. The thing of living with it is understanding that your limits, and if you can't reach your goals, what you have to ask yourself is, am I doing my 100%? And if your 100% is someone else's 20%, that's fine anyway. Always do the best of what you can do and don't feel guilty or worthless because you're comparing yourself to other people. Yeah, I think with social media being the way it is, if you're in a depressed state, you now have a vantage point on the world in which to compare yourself that is a highlight reel. So your perception of someone else's 100% is actually a fabrication and is a manipulation of the truth. So, because if you're in a depressive episode and you're not going outside, and especially during COVID when you're not actually interacting with anyone other than that which they choose to show you, then your perception of the world is curated. And it's important to realize that everyone's just trying to show their best selves and be their best selves and probably hide the things that they're less proud of, unless like you have a close friend and then they might give you a little bit more insight, but they won't give you the 100% truth because shit like that is scary. I've read a couple of things that made sense to me in regards to to depression. That I don't know if this is 100% true or it depends entirely on you as an individual and everything like that. But I'm gonna say this and you can see what you think of it. But I read that the symptoms of depression, the physical symptoms of depression, are very, 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 very close to the symptoms that you would see in someone who is grieving for a loved one being lost, or it's really similar to grief. And I was like, huh. And in the things that I was reading, in the article I was reading, that, or the several, in my experiences and in the things I've read, this is like a hodgepodge that's in my head, so I can't cite you any major references, but I was like, huh, if depression is like grief, then is depression a grief for the loss of your own life? Like, if we have this we have this mental image of the person that we want to be, that like we're not living up to, then like, is depression like grieving for the person you feel like you should be, that you aren't? Like, because if you're feeling trapped or demotivated and you wish you could be better, but it's really hard, is the stumbling block that you're facing is like, you're trying to match yourself against who you think you should be. Or like, is it like a grief for a life unlived? I don't know. It's pretty heavy stuff, but the article I was reading was like, oh, we have antidepressants, and their form of antidepressants was like, there's this farmer dude, and I think he lost his fields or something like that. Like, I think he was like a grain farmer or something, but like there was fire, or there was like, they effectively lost the ability to farm, do the thing that he wanted to do. And their solution, their antidepressants to that, was to give the guy a cow and allow him to farm, but in a different way. But it was, I think, what that was showing was that the fire was something outside of the person's control, and giving them the cow allowed them to see a path forward to I don't know. I'm running out of steam on my advice here, because I'm only half remembering this. You do feel like you lost the opportunities to gain the life you hope to have. Yeah, I don't know, you guys, like, a lot of stuff that I've heard about depression is like, you feel sad for no reason, like no immediate like reason. You're just like, there's this level of sadness that comes from a source that it almost feels like super deep within you, but you can't pinpoint a reason for it. You're like, as Tib was saying, it's like, my life is so much better now, everything is great, like everything is so much better than it was back when I felt that way. Why should I feel this way? And I think it stems from, this is my personal thought, I think it stems from feeling like you you aren't as you should be, or like if you get knocked back from like a path that you're striving for, you don't know how to like rejoin the path, or like you feel stuck where you are. I think a lot of those are like feeling unable to make the choices you need to get back to that. I think can contribute to a lot of feeling of feeling lost and feeling sad and feeling kind of, I wish I was more eloquent with this. I feel like I have like something I want to say. I don't have the exact words to say. It feels like more like a feeling. I definitely feel like that every summer I try to get a job. Assume to it'll be great. It's really cool you and Emlet have managed to connect to. I'm glad that that's happened. H. Robin says, I think everything you say makes perfect sense. Depression is a grief of your happiness. Yeah, like I think from what you're saying is like from what some of you are saying is like some things knocked you off your emotional stride in your past that you haven't been able to recover from, which has like domino affected like your present lives. And it's kind of like a fog settles over the path, and you don't know that you're even looking for that anymore because you're so like focused on trying to keep going and move forward. I don't know. I don't know if this is necessarily true or not, but I think a lot of the internal soul searching you can do is trying to figure out whether there is an actual like a cause to that initial being knocked off your stride. And learning how to become at ease with that. I don't know. Oh man, I just read both San Renia's and Golden Sheepy, what they're saying. Like holding on to the good things to kind of get you through. And I feel like I can't create stuff, says Golden Sheepy, anymore. And as a creative person, I feel like I'm failing, and every time, or I'm falling, and every time I'm falling at doing this, I think you meant to say failing. Never mind, it doesn't matter. Falling and failing have this similar sort of feeling anyway. So failing at doing the stuff I love. I remember my father saying to me when I was 7 that I would have a shitty job, wife, and life, so I should just give up, and I get frozen because of it. The mere fact that the fact that that stuck with you shows how much it like left a wound Golden Sheepy. Like, how can anyone measure up your life when you're 7? But that thing's gonna stick with you because you believe it. And as hard as it is to say, you every time it comes up in your head, you have a choice of whether to believe it again. Like, if you keep believing it, because belief is like, it can be an unconscious kind of like, it can just get stuck. But every time you remember that, if you believe it once more and reinforce it, it will dictate your actions. It will affect every sort of choice that you make. And that truth doesn't need to be your truth anymore. And sometimes someone can say that and you're like, yeah, that makes sense, and you still don't believe it. And I think that's one of the most powerful, enduring, terrible things about these kind of causes for depression, is that you can rationalize it and still irrationally believe something to your core. Like, you can have every person in your life say, you will have value, you mean so much to me, you are an amazing person, and I have benefited from knowing you, and still at your core disbelieve all of that. And I don't know how to get you guys from, or anyone who's like in that state, from one state to the other. I think it has to kind of, I think if you make a choice and do something that benefits you in one small tiny way that cracks that belief, and then you make another choice that does it again, and another choice that is for you and is completely against that like internal belief, slowly but surely you will change your life for the better, and you will prove that truth wrong. And I think trying to deal with the symptoms of depression can take up so much time and energy that you forget that the root of it is that kind of core belief that you haven't been able to like shift. But that if it's obfuscated, and if you're too caught up in trying to like just get on day to day, it can lose sight of and lose grasp of the thing that will like genuinely help you love who you are and who you could become. Yeah. I told you that we'd just be goofing at the start of this stream. And that, yeah. Yeah, this small piano. Depression, the goofiest of subjects. I think an important thing, important motivator or motivation, is to figure out a really like not a really I was like, oh, get them to figure out a really strong why of why they're doing it, and then I'm like, oh shit, if I build it up to like has to be this really great reason that you're doing something, then the stress involved in trying to figure out your why then becomes an insurmountable task as well. But if you can figure out why you want to do what you want to do, that I think that helps a lot. Because if it's like, I want to draw to improve and get better, like, all right, why? Like drill down, drill right down into like why you want to do what you want to do. If you can be certain of that, then I think it can be a good kind of driving force throughout all the decisions you want to make. Spite. Spite is I think we yeah, that feeling of I'll show you. If someone has doubted you in your past and you want to prove them wrong, do you guys know why that's more powerful than if someone's encouraged you? Because I think we try and surround ourselves with comfortable people that we are comfortable around, and they're like super supportive and encouraging, and you're like, oh cool, this is nice. But then I think there's a value in having a friend who just goes like, I think there's a difference between having a friend who negs you, who's like, I don't think you can make it, and a friend who will call you out on your bullshit and will be like, what the fuck are you doing? I know that you are better than this. And I think that's like, there's a not nice friend and there's a not nice friend. There's a friend who's like acting out of kindness and a friend who's acting out of fear. I say friend. If there's a person in your life who's just like, I don't think you can do it. And you're like, all right, why? And it's like, oh well, there's this many reasons, and I think you'd be better doing this instead because I think this is what you truly need to do. Then you're like, oh wow, they're actually looking out for me because they're trying to figure out. Because if you have a friend who's just unconditionally supportive and is just like, you can do the thing, but you actually would be more suited to doing something else. Like a true friend will be like, you know what? I think this might be better for you because of these reasons. I'm going off a tangent because I'm thinking about like if someone's just like, I wholeheartedly believe in you that you can do this thing, but you would actually be the things that you're doing show that you have this like super cool potential for something else if you just apply to yourself in a different way. All right, I'm rambling now. I'm trying to think of like edge cases for encouraging your friends. But I think spite is a good motivator because you are like, you have this kind of, you can have this moment where you feel like if you could just turn to that person and be like, aha, I gotcha. Yo, Bryony, how's it going? We're just goofing, talking about depression and motivation and stuff. I want to get back to because Tibbs was asking for like a very specific question about her situation and scenario right now, and I think we went off into we spiraled off into the void of vagueness. I think if you feel like you want to do something, but can't. I think. I think figuring out why you want to do it will help kind of unearth or unbury some of the things that are like all that the weight that's pressing down on you. You can sort of like start to shift it to the side a little. I see you, Stanley. See you. Guys, I know it's very stupid, but try to be kind with yourself. If you say to a kid every day that he is stupid, he's going to grow stupid because he thinks he is not more than that. So a very good trick is to repeat yourself nice things even if you don't think them. And if you think it's not working, just consider for how much time you spent to say to yourself that you're not enough, because it could take years to change your mind. Changing your self-perception. That's really cool. Yeah. How do you see yourself? I think hopefully I'm not going to speak out of turn here, but I think one of the issues that Tib, maybe I shouldn't say this on stream or whatever. I should probably just say this to Tib. Maybe I should have just spoken in generalities, and then it could have applied to Tib without being Tib-centric. Well, okay, maybe I'll just talk from my own experiences. I think if you have made something and it's been impressive, you almost feel like you have to live up to that level again. And that adds an increased weight of responsibility over the things you choose to make next. Like, if you both have to make something and make it impressive, that's a burden on your creative process. Like if you already have momentum up and you're making stuff and you've made a cool thing, and then you're making another cool thing, the momentum will help to keep carrying you through, because you'll have a very fresh experience of having been able to do the thing. I think if you hit like a rest and then you're like, okay, I made a cool thing and now the next thing I have to make is cool, then there's a lot of pressure to succeed right off the bat. And I think that can be unmotivating and debilitating in equal measure. I think if you giving yourself permission to make mistakes and letting go of like, this next thing has to be awesome, that if I'm just gonna fart out something, can be really freeing. Giving yourself permission to make mistakes, fail, and enjoying that process, I think can help unstick you. But then you have to account for that weight of depression into it as well. I don't know, you guys. I'll just put this out there now. The device that I'm saying stuff, it doesn't account for actual mental health, disordered chemical imbalances and things. like bipolar stuff, and like I don't understand those things fully enough to account for them in my advice. You got to learn to laugh at your own art sometimes instead of going, oh fuck, I drew that arm way too short, god damn it, says Kurzik. Try it, lol, that looks silly, I'm gonna fix it. Taking yourself less seriously it can help a lot. Yeah. You guys liking my blobby bushes? I appreciate it. Yeah, like, I'm just gonna ask India a quick question. Do you think I get depressed sometimes? Yeah. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. When you're out of it. I said that. Very much that. Yeah, I just asked India point blank, like, do you think I get depressed sometimes? And she's like, yeah, I think so. But she added to that I think you can see it once you're through it more than like when you're in it at the time. Like, I know that I've actively gotten annoyed if I'm called out on it. It's like, what's wrong with you? Like, there's nothing wrong. I'm just, and it's just like, there clearly is. I think maybe I just have like high functioning depression. Like I'm a high functioning alcoholic. My work rate goes down, but it never stops. It can go down to the point where I see what happens to me is I get overwhelmed with the amount of work I have to do sometimes. So what I end up doing is I run away from the stuff I'm responsible for, and I start being like productively procrastinative elsewhere. And I'll start doing stuff that is less important because there's less pressure attached to it. And what that ends up doing is it wastes the time that I would have had to apply to the thing that is stressing me out. Bryony says, oh, I do that too sometimes. I'm so busy on other things. Yeah, I jump around tasks. I think my brain, I think it's an escape tactic. That I haven't figured out yet. Because I've been around people where it's just like, I don't want to get out of bed. I'm too sad today. I'm not trying to trivialize it. I'm just trying to lighten the mood. I'm sorry. And I've never experienced that, so I can't relate to that. Sometimes I wish I could. Sometimes I'm very thankful that I can, because I don't ever get into a state where it's like I can't do stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mhm. Ooh, that's a good point. Do you want me to put the mic on or reiterate that for you? Yeah. India is saying that I think it's a mistake to see being productive as not being sad or depressed, and that people who have like gotten to the point where they like have worked so much to avoid dealing with the emotions that they have, so they when they stop, they suddenly feel all of this, like all of the feeling rush in. Which I think is important to see. Like, being productive just doesn't mean that you're okay, and being unproductive doesn't mean you're not okay. Thanks for adding that, India. That's really cool, because I'm like, I keep making stuff, I seem to be fine. And it's like, yeah, you probably just haven't stopped enough to... Yeah, India's saying like a sign of being healthy is like when you can work and you can stop, and both states are okay for you. Oh, yeah. Depression is not wanting to get up from bed. Depression is wanting to get up from bed but being unable to. I get you. Yeah, thanks for the clarification. Yeah, I think a lot of depression comes down to a feeling of a lack of control over the governance of your own life. And like, if you don't feel like your life is able to be the way that you want it to be, but you don't know how to get from where you are to where you want to get to, then that feeling of being stuck can cause the grief aspect, I think, of I think that ties in there. Tim saying, I don't like it when I'm tired and able to do things in the evening, and it makes me take longer to get things done, and then I get to bed later and then I'm tired the next day, like today. Yeah. The app Headspace helps me a bit with the finding time to chill and no overload your brain. How does that work, Bryony? Is it like yeah, is it like a time management thing, or is it like you can put your disparate thoughts? Oh, it has guided meditation. Gotcha. I would like to try that. Guided meditation, I mean. When you start getting YouTube ads for Headspace, that's when you know you should go to sleep. I think... I was gonna say that having a bookend in your day helps with like regimenting it, but I have that and I still go to bed too late, so... Verge. I think like if you're like, I have to get up at a certain time, or like I have to go to bed at a certain time, can help you like prioritize, like giving yourself a bedtime deadline, and being really like, no matter what else happens, like say say you were like 10:30 p.m. I have to not have my phone or anything and just be in bed by that time every day. If you don't get enough work done that day, but you still go to bed at a certain time, then you learn that you didn't hit your goals that day, and you're going to have to like wake up with the consequences of that the next day. That fear might be a motivator to like get shit done in the time you have, because when that bedtime deadline hits, you got to go to sleep. Because I feel like if you feel like you have more time if you just stay up, if I feel like I can work all day on something, it changes the way that I approach what I'm doing in every minute and every second of the day. Whereas if I feel like I have to stop at this time, then I think it gets you to think of things differently. For instance, it's 10:30. I got to go. I just realized that you guys have shit. I've overran. I did start late though, so it's only, I haven't went over stream time. I just realized that it's, yeah. You'll just be talking to me specifically right now. Oh, that's super cool, Tib. Stream time deadline. Yeah, I think I'm gonna ruminate on this this thought and feeling that like depression is grief for the person that you wish you were. Because if you feel the pressure to be that person, you're not living up to it, that's just going to make you sadder, I think. But it's how to get from, because either you can accept that you're not that person and become comfortable with who you actually are and kind of move from your current starting point rather than like almost looking at the horizon going, why am I not there yet? And choosing from that point to change direction and be like, well, maybe that isn't maybe that, I'm sorry, I like walling in my own self-pity. I feel that works for me. Like maybe that isn't who you're meant to be, and that's all right. Maybe your choices will lead to something else that is as acceptable and as great as who you thought you would be. And like, because we're all like, I need to figure out who I am or what I want to be or what I'm doing. So like you got two choices. If you feel like you're not living up to your potential, you can either choose to accept that you won't, and it's okay. That's not the best decision, or you can engage with this like, yeah, India's saying it depends on how unrealistic your version of yourself is. Like if it's unrealistic, then you're striving towards a goal that would actually is either impossible or will damage you to reach, like both mentally and physically. But if you've got attainable goals in mind, then you have the choice to figure out and move towards that person by reaching those goals. Like, I think depression a lot of the time can kind of feel like I don't know where to start. I'm just trying to keep going. So it almost feels like you're treading water rather than swimming towards something. You're just trying to keep afloat. Here we go with the water metaphors. I think if you have something that you are trying to swim towards, you can both tread water and get a little bit closer to a shore. That will give you a little bit more grounding emotionally and mental health wise. Because it is exhausting to tread water for an indefinite amount of time. But you will keep doing that if all your focus and all your energy is on just getting by day to day. It's gonna take some like tough thinking. And Buffy, don't sit on the iPad. That's not a chair. That's not. Aww. That's not a chair. Just go and scratch your iPad. I can hear it clicking.
No, don't.
I'm gonna. Buffy just jumped down from the chair and kicked out her back legs and almost like scooted the iPad off the chair. Tib says, I don't think it's unreasonable for me to think I want to be able to consistently get up in the morning / whenever in the day I need to get up to do anything. I just need to figure out how. How do? India says stickers can be great placebos. So you guys won't have seen this because obviously, but India found a sticker set of, I think they're like tabs you can put in books, like page markers. You know those post-it notes that are small, like page markers. They are colored pencils. And every so often, I will turn around to talk to India, and she'll have 2 to 3 of them stuck to her face. And her response to this and her reasoning is, they just make me feel better. And I love that. So that's what she means when she says placebo stickers. Stickers are band-aids for emotions. And that is, I think that is just India having fun and not taking one aspect of herself seriously. It lessens the vice grip of her insecurity about what she's doing. So no, it's not. Shit. Is it R? R? Yeah, it's R. Okay. There we go. Get out of here. Totally makes sense. Yeah, I know, right? So what can we gain from that behavior? What can we now apply to ourselves? Cause well, you can try sticking stickers to your face, but what is the equivalent of that practice for you? What do you do that just makes you feel better? Eating candy. Well, that has ramifications, as we know. If we take ourselves too seriously, the fun stoppy, and we need fun. Never stopping. Yeah. You're familiar with the ramifications. Me too. If any of you caught K7 Vin's or Kevin's stream yesterday, I only caught the first part of it. But oh, thank you, Anticore, for the follow. I want to get strong. I want to get strong like Kevin. He was going through like resistance exercises, like squats and press ups and stuff. You know what would be cool? You know, it would be like really super cool. You know the group from is it the Body Self-Improvement Club or something from Mob Psycho? I wanna do that. I wanna do one where we both develop our own bodies, but we're also learning to draw them at the same time. So like if you're learning about muscle groups, you learn the exercises to develop them in yourself as well. And like we just rotate like each month or something. So it's like the self-improvement figure club or something. I need a better name. Kevin, I can show you how to be strong in the real way. The Anatomy Improvement Club. Yeah, something like that. Active anatomy, says India. Because I'm realizing just how unstrong I am at the moment. India can defeat me and I need to change this. India says she's just unreasonably strong. You know, because you could have leg day, and leg day is like you work out your legs and then you draw some legs. Could you imagine if you were like, you took reference of your legs and then you drew them, and then like every week you would draw your legs again, but every drawing you do is like your legs are getting stronger? That'd be cool. You'll understand the muscles because they'll start to appear. That'd be cool. And they'll start to hurt, says India. Yeah, well. No, yeah. You know what? You're right. Does that... Okay. I practiced karate throughout high school, and I was always in pain for like, I don't know, 4 to 5 years. Like, I don't know if it's just that the warm-ups and the warms-downs that we did just like weren't enough. But I feel like if you're exercising, do you get to the point where you aren't in pain anymore? It was after Bryony. Like, if you're active and exercising, is there any point where insufficient warm-ups can cause pain? You're overdoing it if you're always in pain. You should feel great after it. So no, it's like the next day. It's not like immediately afterwards. No, it's like you wake up the next... Maybe I just need to warm up every day. or something. You were in the military for a hot second and training does make you feel you have muscle fever. The pain reduces. Alright. That's your muscles breaking, but maybe they weren't getting enough protein or what. I think that's it. I think I need to, like... Yeah. Because that's something that I think can prevent me and for a few other people. It's like, you're like, I'm gonna do some exercise. And you do it and you're like, ah! Yeah. Knowing how to do it properly, I think will go a long way. You need to eat and to rest to let the muscles rebuild. And you have late onset muscle fever. You have to wait 2 days before I know if I overdid it. Oh, maybe I... No, because India did like Ring Fit with me and she was also in pain the next day. Or, let me clarify. I did Ring Fit with her. She was doing it and then I had to go. And oh my gosh, I filled out the first survey wrong. I was like, I can try intermediate. Did I put it on intense? Well, see, my reasoning... My reasoning for setting it to intense, okay, was that the question before that was, how often do you exercise? And I put never, so I was like... Yeah, no, that's right, yeah. It was intense for me because I never, yeah. I thought when you were like, I exercise a little bit, and so give me a moderate thing, and then you got a level, I was like, well, if I say I never exercise, and then I put moderate, then I'm gonna get less than you got, and I need to prove that I'm stronger. It just fucking destroyed me. I nearly died. I was on the couch just sitting, just trying to breathe. Yeah, do more damage than good, for sure. For sure. See, when I was in high school, I went to karate like at least twice a week. And I was pretty fit in high school. Not that fit, but not fit. Fit-ish. But then there was a period of time when I was working in Scotland, and my routine was gym 3 times a week. And then what I would do on the days between gym, stupidly, was I would go to the climbing wall for an hour, which like helped to I was never like super intense at the climbing wall. The climbing wall was more like, I'm just gonna have a little bit of fun for an hour, but it let me like use my muscles again in a kind of just a fun way. That's the fittest I've ever done, because I was doing like cardio and weights and climbing, and I wouldn't be able to sit still back then. I'd just be constantly like, have you ever done the thing where you're walking along a pavement but you actually walk along the curb instead? So you have to engage like the lats, the muscles, the Adventures of Young Doig, yeah. The muscles on the outside of your leg to keep balanced. If you do that for an entire walk, it is really painful afterward. But fun, because like it's yeah. I used to live at the top of a really big hill as well, so my walk home was always like engaging those glutes. Walking can be boring. Yeah. Alright. I've got the placeholder for 9,000. Oh, cool. It's behind my face. Is that okay? Am I going to like turn away from it?
What?
Yeah, that's fine then. A little bit overlap didn't hurt anybody. Beautiful, play it. Okay, 1 second. I need to make sure that 9,000 only appears on this frame. I mean, we were just cleaning up some frames. I can't believe how long this fucking takes. Animation takes so long. India just verbally sighed. Build in the cache. Is that a dress?
Swifty.
Yeah, I think a little bit. Like a long t-shirt.
About our subscriber count.
It's over 9,000!
It's not playing at all. Alright, Swifty.
What?
Shush.
9,000.
Hang on, let me...
Swifty.
Shush.
What does the
Stop.
YouTube say
Stop.
about our
No.
subscriber
Stop.
count?
Stop. Okay, let me render it. File. Let me save it. So we there we go. Don't think I've saved the whole. Hey, rabbit. File. Render animation. Last frame, first frame. Video. V3. Include audio. Okay. You're living dangerously. Yeah, I started the stream being like, so I lost an hour of progress because I didn't save it. But then I switched on autosave. Yeah. Back it up, oh yeah, back that shit up. How you doing, Rabbit? How are you getting on? Oh yeah, when I lost it yesterday, no, Sunday, I went into the settings and turned on autosave. I'll be doing some figure drawing again in Clip Studio, trying to learn how to paint skin stuff. It is my outside of work hour goal to learn how to draw aesthetically beautiful figure drawings. And by that I mean sometimes I want to draw sexy ladies, because I feel like learning subsurface scattering. That'd be cool. I feel like sometimes my drawings can be a little bit academic. They're just sort of like, yep. You know, I don't know how to explain it. Like I want to be able to paint in a way where it's not just how to put it. Oh, that's really cool. I'm glad you got a lot of applications, Rabbit. That's awesome. I would say be careful with who you bring on. Aw, I think Buffy's gonna throw up. Vet who you bring on to make sure that they are gonna deliver. I want appeal, that's it. Buffy, where are you at? Are you gonna throw up on something? She managed to pick under the door frame as her choice. That's gonna be, yeah, no, for sure. I'm seeing who I can trust to deliver a project on time. That's why I explicitly asked for animation work along with how much they'd realistically be able to produce. Yeah, good. Tibbs is saying that definitely think it's better to give people individual deadlines for reanimated rather than setting a far off single deadline for everyone. I agree. If people are only doing a second, you don't necessarily have to give them the same deadline for people who are doing like 5 seconds. Give them shorter deadlines. Because like if you can only manage a second, I don't know. Sometimes the reason people can only do a second is because they have to fit it in with a whole bunch of other work, so you need to take that into account as well. But oh wow, this is actually taking a lot longer to render than I thought it would. Probably because I'm streaming. Dogs are sneaky pukers, good to know. Yeah. Buffy usually has a particular meow, which is that something is about to come up the wrong way. Yeah. I mean, the Taz animated collaboration still has never come out. And that thing is 2.5 years old now, since the deadline passed. I think if you get to the point where you're just waiting on like 1 or 2 people to submit, just help the person with other people who have finished their other shots to like help them. When you did the Yu-Gi-Oh! Reanim, everyone had 2 months from the day that they joined, and that way no one's thinking, I've got 8 months, it can wait. That's really cool. So if it's a kind of like that's cool, Kurzik. Yeah, the animated Grump one that India and I did way back, that started in around November, and the deadline was February, which is crazy now that I remember it. And it eventually was shared in like July or June or July. Yeah, as Tib says, if you're waiting on 1 or 2 people and it's been long enough, give them a warning and then cut them and use someone who you know can deliver, who's already done a shot. Yeah, it feels heartless, but at the same time, they've let you down. Like if you brought them on and they're like, oh no, I'll just get to it, you'd be like, sorry. Yeah, check-in deadlines are definitely good, so you can say if you can't show you're making progress, then your shot's gonna get reallocated, because they're breaking their kind of social contract with you by not working on the thing. Yeah, it's not mean it's responsible, for sure. Oh, it did it. It did the thing. 1 second, let me Ba-ba-da. Cool. Let me see. Valhalla, video projects. No, video production, animation. Should be in here somewhere. There it is. Open with VLC Media Player.
Swifty.
There we go. Maybe it doesn't need to be full screened. Yeah, so here's where I'm at so far with this.
Swifty. What does the YouTube say about our subscriber count?
It's over 9,000!
So I'm gonna have it cut away from
What? 9,000? Swifty. What does the YouTube say about
and cut
our
back to me
subscriber
a couple of
count?
times and also have like screen shake.
9,000!
What? 9,000? Swifty. What does the YouTube say about our subscriber count?
It's over 9,000!
Thanks Tib, and thanks everyone.
What? 9,000? Swifty.
I like the little poof of dust. Will I add a shake to her lower beak while she screams? I think that'd be really good. Yeah. It is a good poof. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I wanted to like make her eyes narrow as well. So they're like vibrating. And also have like her hand shake just before she crushes it. Oh wait, there's a frame there where I was explaining compositions in Avatar. Lol. You can see I originally painted it as a 480 by 360, so there's a lot of like pixelation where I've scaled it up. So, and you can see here I need to like paint a proper India. She's a placeholder. I was originally going to be doing it like a pixel art thing, but as I started to like draw it and stuff, it looked more painterly, and then when I scaled it up to 1920 by 1080 to do it in Krita, I just wanted to refine it. But it's getting there. It's almost done. I really like Swifty on this thing. Yeah. Alright, and with that, thank you for watching the end. Watching the animation, but this is the end. You also love the reference to Chief Animation lip sync in Dragon Ball. Yeah. I've added like a couple more frames than I had previously because I just wanted to soften some of it out. And I added a mouth shape. And originally I just had him screaming that way. But yeah. Had the eye movement, so it's like, Swifty, what does you do? Oh, no worries, Tib. I think you got me talking about some really cool stuff. I want to figure that out, see if there's any helpful advice that I can apply to my own life and stuff. So San Renia says to feel better, India. Warm hugs. I didn't really explain on stream, but India's it's a scheduled thing that India's experiencing, and she'll be bouncing back from it soon. So ibuprofen hugs. Not too warm hugs, she'll be on fire again. Very good. Alright, you guys. Let me who immediately comes up in the raid options? Okay, I'll see if there's anyone who could do with your friendship and viewership. That doesn't. The thing that bugs me about the raid channel button is it tends to show the top 5 highest people streaming, and I follow way more people than that. I wish it gave you the full list. Oh, Go Pirate Software is streaming. Yeah, they've raided us a couple of times, so let's raid them back. Let's see, what are they doing? I think he might be just about to show you some insects or ants, so yeah. So okay, I'm gonna like there's a figure of the rock in the ant farm. Okay, I gotta get you guys over there. It's so cool. It's so cool. Okay, thank you so much for joining today, and go let Thor know that he should adventure, even though clearly he knows what he's doing. And we will catch you tomorrow. I think we should be doing the animorning challenge second part tomorrow. So if you submitted for that and you're in the next group, well, it'll be tomorrow. But until then, may the rest your day venture. Take care, everyone. Adventure.
And that's a Loki there. Big sleepy. Yeah, they sleep like little rolls.